Okay, so this very last unit, the last couple of weeks here at school, we're going to be discussing some word problems. That can be tricky. We're going to prepare you for Algebra 1 really well because this is stuff that's going to come up next year. To start off with though, let's just discuss words and how they kind of translate to math. So there's going to be some very easy stuff that I think you've seen before, but I wanted to give you a tool. Right next to the video, there is a link to a document that I have up here for you, the keywords to solving word problems. Lots of words here. You've seen a lot of this before. Before we even get started, I want you also to take some notes, just some definitions of kind of what numbers are when we're doing operations with them. So I'm going to use the space on the handout to take notes on, but you can just take notes on a notebook. You don't have to print this out if you don't want. So to start off with, when you add two things together, those two things are called addends. So we add two addends, and the result of adding things, and this may be 3 addends or 4 addends, the result is a sum. I think you've seen that before. All right. Now, couple other words, when we subtract, we have a minuend, and we subtract a subtrahend. And the result of those two things is a difference. Now, I don't expect anyone to remember minuend and subtrahend, but difference is an important word and sum is an important word. Addend isn't going to come up that much, but it's one that it kind of makes sense. All right. Then there's a couple words for multiplication that we tend not to use. Multrahend, multrahend and multiplier, I think they are, which creates a product. Product is super important. The result of multiplying is a product. But we prefer to use the word a factor times another factor equals a product. All right, so those are all super important words. All right, so factors of 18, right? We use that word all the time, factors of 18. For example, 2 of them might be 2 and 9. So 2 and 9 are factors, and 18 is the product. All right. Now also, we have division. So division is a dividend divided by a divisor. A dividend divided by a divisor. And that equals a quotient. And if it's not even, if the quotient isn't an integer, you actually get a quotient plus a remainder. All right. And believe it or not, that terminology is going to come up in pre-calculus in your 10th or 11th grade for you guys. So 11th grade, I guess, for you guys. So there's some words that are important kind of operation words. Now, as we also scroll down the list, addition, you're going to see a lot of things like increased by. Here's that word sum. That's the result of addition. Other things are just kind of more common colloquial English words. Now at the bottom of each page, it has equals. Equals, these are verbs, right? Is, are, was, were, will be, gives, yields. Those are verbs. So things, equals is an important trigger. When you see that verb is or will be, that's an important trigger to say, oh, I need an equal sign to create an equation. So subtraction, we have decreased by. That's a big one. Minus is kind of obvious. Here's that word difference. That's the result of subtraction. More than, now not to be confused with is more than. Okay, maybe I should even put that up here. Is more than is kind of the same as is greater than, right? Is greater than, right? Is more than, is less than. Is combined with more than or less than means this inequality type symbol where more than or less than requires subtraction. Fewer than requires subtraction. Left over requires subtraction. There's the equal signs again. Multiplication. Now here's the key one for multiplication. Key is of. Super, super important. It's such a tiny little word that when we read it in a phrase, we don't think of it as anything, but of means multiply. We have 7 of those baskets. Well, whatever's in the basket gets multiplied by 7. So of becomes really, really important, important trigger for multiplication. Times multiplied by, blah, 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 blah. Every, that's also each and every. Also, very innocuous words that mean multiply. For division, the innocuous word that means multiply is per. Per. Now notice each is here, and I think each was up here too, right? Used in a little different way. Here's each as multiplication. Each pair of socks costs $1.50. How much will 6 pairs cost? Okay, each pair. So you have to multiply to get 6. And then each down here, pens cost $1. How many pens can you buy with $6? Pens cost $1 each. Okay, so it depends on which perspective you're looking at it, whether you're doing division or multiplication, because they're basically opposite operations. All right, so there's some basic words to math. You can read over the rest of it if you want. Oh, here, notice ratio is here, right? Ratio. That's because a ratio is a fraction, and a fraction means division, right? In fact, that's why I wrote dividend and divisor as a fraction in that way right next to each other. So there's some words to math. Next video, I'll start to explain a particular type of word problem that you're going to see. We're going to start to use tables for a couple of different types of word problems. So I'll teach you setups for those basically. All right. So there's some words to math.